Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Brandon, and welcome back to Marotta Media. And today I will be discussing my thoughts on a movie I've been looking forward to talking about for quite some time, Uncharted. Now, Uncharted is based off a series of popular video games for PlayStation, and I was a big fan of the games. I think that these games are some of the greatest games ever made. And my personal favorite is probably Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, but it has been a few years since I played them, so if I played them again, that could change, but all of them are pretty phenomenal. And I did not really have high hopes for this movie going into it. One, because video game movies almost always suck. And two, the casting, because Tom Holland plays Nathan Drake and Mark Wahlberg plays Sully, but both of them just seemed way too young to play those characters. But I go into movies wanting to like them, dude. I go in hoping for the best, but holy shit, Uncharted was so much worse than I had anticipated. And I knew officially that this movie was going to be bad right at the beginning. It opens up with that sequence of Nathan outside of a plane attached to some boxes that are hanging out the back of it. It's in the trailer, so if you haven't seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the trailer. Or if you played Uncharted 3, because there's a scene in that game that's just like that, except it takes place over a desert. But it opens with this scene of him outside the plane, and then it cuts to a flashback of Nathan when he was young, living in an orphanage with his brother Sam. And then it cuts to Nathan in the present day working as a bartender in New York. And I really want to know, what was the point of sequencing it that way? Like, did they do it to draw you in and try to get you interested in what was happening? Like, if you hadn't seen the trailer, you're like, ooh, okay, how did we get here? I want to know what this is all about. If anything, it kind of reminded me of the beginning of Uncharted 2, because at the beginning of that game, Nathan Drake is sitting in a subway cart that's hanging off the side of a cliff, and he's also bleeding to death. And I don't know, when I played Uncharted 2, I was really interested to see how we got to that point, but in the movie, I really did not care how we got there at all. That might be because of my preconceived judgment on this movie, but it also might be that it really doesn't work in a movie and it works more in a video game. It just comes off like really bad editing, or almost as if they know that this movie really isn't that interesting, so they open with one of the most, if not the most interesting part of it. And also right at the beginning of this movie, I did not get a sense that this is Nathan Drake that these things were happening to, because when they're on the boxes, Nathan kicks a guy in the face and he falls, and he's obviously dead. And Nathan is like, oh my god, I'm so sorry! But if you've played the games, you're pretty familiar with the character of Nathan Drake. And in the games, does he ever bat an eye when he kills someone? No, he does it like it's nothing. Because in this movie, Nathan just comes off like a petrified kid rather than an experienced, confident man. And Mark Wahlberg's portrayal of Sully is the exact same way. He doesn't come off like Sully at all. He seems like he's just playing Mark Wahlberg. And the two of them just don't have any chemistry with one another. I'm sorry, they just don't. They have several moments of this back and forth banter that's supposed to be funny, but it's never funny. It's just more cringy than anything. Like, there's one specific scene where Nathan asks Sully to give him his phone so he could use a flashlight or something when they're looking for a clue. And Nathan is like, wow, Sully, you have so many apps open. So what's the problem? I can't have apps open on my phone? What's to do with that? Really, Sully? Tinder? What? I'm a lonely guy. I don't really have anyone to travel around the world with. I need companionship when I'm looking for treasure. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's not really how the scene goes. That was just me paraphrasing and also making fun of the ridiculousness of it. And that's also the second time on my channel that I've done a Mark Wahlberg impression. I mean, if anyone was keeping score. And it also may be a little ironic that I just criticized this movie for being cringy and I just made that joke, but so be it. I'm not a professional screenwriter. I'm just some dude on YouTube who likes to talk about movies. But it's not just banter between Nathan and Sully. There's banter when both of them are like fighting an enemy. It's almost as if the filmmakers thought, hey, you know what? Tom Holland is really good at witty banter during fight sequences, so let's try to incorporate some of those into this movie. But the thing is, that works for Spider-Man because that's what the character of Spider-Man is like. But it doesn't work for Uncharted. Like, this is Nathan Drake. This is one of the coolest motherfuckers ever. You think that he's gonna have a witty conversation with a guy that he's fighting and then eventually kills? No, he's not like that. And this movie also contains a super underdeveloped villain. And I really cannot discuss my point on this aspect of the movie without going into spoilers, so if you want to avoid spoilers for Uncharted, then skip to this part of the video. So Antonio Banderas is this movie's antagonist who plays... what the hell is his name again? Santiago Moncada. And he's also trying to find the treasure because his dad is, like, selling their family fortune for some reason. I don't know, I don't think it was ever explained. And while we're also following him, Nathan and Sully meet up with Chloe, who is also a character that is in the games. And then after they find a clue that they were looking for, Chloe betrays them both and decides to go work for Antonio Banderas and his apprentice tattoo lady. I don't remember her name, nor do I care to, so I'm just gonna refer to her as Tattoo Lady. And so when she makes this decision to betray them and go with Antonio Banderas, they're on this plane, and I think you know where this is going. And Antonio Banderas is having this big supervillain monologue on the plane to these unnamed henchmen. And then Tattoo Lady slits his throat and kills him. And at that moment, I was like, okay, what the fuck is going on here? So it turns out that Tattoo Lady was actually the main antagonist of the movie, even though she's super underdeveloped, even more so than Antonio Banderas. But when it's revealed that this is actually the main villain of the movie, Chloe is like, oh no, I'm not down with this, I'm leaving. And then this fight breaks out on the plane. It's so fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And then, yeah, that eventually leads to the scene outside of the plane with the boxes and the cars and all that, and some horrible green screen and CGI. You know the deal. But that entire sequence just left me scratching my head. In fact, a lot of this movie left me scratching my head. Because at no point, while I sat through this nearly 2-hour movie, 2 hours too long, did I feel like I was watching Uncharted. I felt like I was watching some cheap adventure movie that just had the Uncharted name slapped on it. But this whole thing was just a bland attempt at Uncharted. Now, I made a short review of this movie on TikTok. That's right, I'm on TikTok now, so if you're interested, you can follow me there. I'll put a link in the description. But a lot of people were very upset with me when I said that this movie was garbage. And their rationale was, oh, dude, this is a prequel. Nathan and Sully are supposed to be young. That's how it's meant to be. You should learn to take some enjoyment in things. And yeah, I guess I can understand that to an extent, but it just seems like a lame excuse excusing this train wreck of a movie. And on top of that, there's hardly any action. Uncharted consists of puzzle solving, shootouts, exploration, and we got, like, none of that in this movie. And when you add no action on top of a horrendous script that tries way too hard to be funny, and a flurry of miscast actors that do not fit these characters at all, you get this pile of garbage. I really feel like this movie was made by people who never played the games in their lives, because if they did, they would have made something so much better than this. And overall, I'm gonna give Uncharted a 3 out of 10. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching my review of Uncharted. If you guys saw this movie, then let me know what you thought about it. Did you think it was garbage like me, or maybe you liked it? Who knows? If you guys liked this review, then be sure to hit that thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe. Want to see my previous reviews, then I'll link those right over here. Other than that, I hope you all have a tremendous rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.